Welcome back, everybody. This is the final hour of today's session. Night has fallen on the camp. I don't even know what to call these people. Like Egbert's goons. they're not really bandits. They're just folks, woodland folk.
Right.
You
can't say that because I already have a thing that says the wood folk.
They're
Different.
Yeah.
Are these
that,
the same people? I don't know.
I don't know. I should have asked that. I should have asked King Godric.
Yeah, Godric would know. So I think, I don't know. Do you have nighttime other night moves you want to make?
How late is it?
I mean, just like post. You probably ate lunch and then hung out and drank and talked and like debated until dinner, then ate dinner, and now it's like after that.
Is Godric still around?
Godric's always around, man.
I don't know if he sleeps. He doesn't sleep.
Who knows? I don't know.
What sequence of events will bring us to hear his accent again?
Yeah.
Where's my
Colin, and you say you haven't played role-playing games before. That's exactly how this shit works. In what way can I make you do the silly voice?
What were you saying, Rooster?
Yeah, where's my wrestling partner?
Hedwig?
where's
She's around.
Hedwig?
She's probably joined one of the like other like rowdy groups of folk.
I think I follow her.
Okay. All right. Sure. Well, let's follow that for a minute. So, she heads over to a group of these dudes, and they're sitting around a fire. One of them appears to be like drunk, like he's just kind of like leaned over, kind of like sleeping where he sits. His like hair is just like dangling in front of him. The rest of them are drinking, and there's like the sort of scrappy remains of some kind of animal that they roasted like on a plate nearby. And they're all having like an argument about something when you approach. And one of them asks Hedwig something, and then she replies and laughs, and the guy she asked looks really embarrassed, and everyone else laughs at him. And then Hedwig points to you, like probably pokes you in the chest, and says a word, and a couple of them laugh and like sort of seem to ask for clarification. She says the word again, and then they nod and like repeat it to you and like nod to you. And she gestures to like a log they've got set up by the fire where she sits down and someone hands her a drink.
Also, like, she wants me to sit down next to her?
Yeah, she wants you to sit down.
Okay, yeah, well, Rooster sits down next to her. And as I'm sitting down, I'm just like, I'm pretty good with one of those things once I get my hands on it.
She doesn't... Yeah, oh, you mean the sword. She just sees you gesture at her.
Yeah, like, it's meant to go both ways.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It'll work out.
Just like that statement. She says, she's like, yes, you are very strong. Slippery, though. I like men I can... And she, like, grabs your shoulders, like, suddenly hold on to.
You're just gonna have to try harder.
She kind of, like, nods, like you're giving her an invitation to try harder. She says, maybe later, Rooster. Now, drinking. And she, like, holds her mug up. And that they all, like, cheers, and she drinks. Someone hands you a mug of ale, like sour beer.
Yeah, like, Rooster, like, looks at it, and he's like, I'm already bored of drinking. I much prefer fighting. Much better at it.
She nods, and she says, yes, and then says something like to the men, who immediately like are like, fuck yeah, and start moving the logs out of the way. And like making a space, and you can see like they start to like some of them start to take off their like shirts, and she's like, "This is something we understand," and like pounds her fists together, and she stands you up so they can move the log, and she puts her arm around you, and she gestures to them like the men as they start to like stretch and stuff, and she's like, "Which one do you want to fight?" There's like a variety of dudes, men and women getting like limbered up for fighting. You can see the grab ass has already started. Like some of them are like slapping each other and
Yeah.
like
And Rooster kind of like shakes his head. I think you misunderstood. I was suggesting that you and I, and like gives her this look of just like, are we not?
roll your innuendoing skill.
Yeah, but Rooster's just like cutting out the innuendo part. He's
Yeah.
just like, do I need to be more frank with you here? Like,
She shakes her head and she's like, no, not yet. Fighting first.
Oh boy.
just shrug. Yeah, like
And then she
I
looks
look
to,
at these dudes. Like, is there one that's like clearly the biggest, strongest one?
yeah, sure. Yeah, there's a
Okay,
big,
yeah.
there's a,
Let's do terrible things to him.
yeah, there's a big dude. He's got the same black hair as the slaves, and once he's got his shirt off, you can see he's got a huge like raven tattoo across his chest.
Yeah.
And he's got like a shaved head and has the same like long droopy mustaches that that Egbert has. And you can see that guy, and nobody's harassing him. No one's like slapping him or pushing him. He's just like stretching and like cracking
Yeah.
his knuckles when you look over.
Yeah, and I just say like, nice mustache. Hate that mustache.
He doesn't understand. But when you look at him, she nods and she's like, "Good choice," and shoves you towards him.
Cool. So I'm gonna just like fight him super dirty
Okay.
right off the bat, like before he's ready. So like
Okay.
as I'm like I kind of overplay my stumbling, and then yeah, do some like mud in the eye or kick my clawfoot kind of situation
Sure.
to get started.
All right. Cool. So what's your intent in fighting this guy?
I mean it's to get with Hedwig, obviously.
Yeah, to impress Hedwig and convince her you're like worth taking back to her tent. Okay.
So it's not even like I don't even have to win the fight
Yeah.
necessarily. I just like and maybe that's not what Rooster's trying to do. He's just trying to like make a show of it.
Yeah, to
He's
be
a good
impressive.
fighter, so he knows how to like make fights look spectacular, or more so.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good.
more in that kind of vein.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and let's fight this guy.
Cool.
Let's give him some skills. Raven versus the Rooster. Fight. And let's give him brawling. And any forkable skills? Probably just like drunken fighting wise. Okay, cool. All right, you ready?
What bad things will happen to me if I fail this roll?
You just won't get what you want. You won't impress her.
Okay.
He's not gonna like break your back or anything. Like he just
Right.
wants to. His intent is to win. His intent is to cow you or like get you in a headlock or whatever. Like
Yeah,
just to win the fight so you can move on to the next fight and chalk you down as victory.
Okay. And am I doing brawling? I guess I'm doing brawling. Seems
Yeah.
most appropriate. I'm gonna fork in boxing and dirty fighting wise.
Okay.
Can I fork in anything else? I wish I had a skill relating to. Can I fork in intimidation?
You're not really trying to intimidate her, so not so much.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay. Okay, so then I'll just get +2 on this.
Okay.
Ooh. And it's just an opposed test.
Well, I got 3. What'd you get?
2. I'll throw a
Got
fate
6.
into it though.
Yeah, reroll that thing.
Nope.
Oof. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. It's not even that you fight poorly or like you don't. It's not that you don't win even. Like I think maybe you beat the guy. Well, I guess he wins, but you do a sound job of it such that you don't embarrass yourself. But the thing is that Hedwig isn't paying attention because she's off fighting somebody else. So like the two of you finish like scrapping and you look over and she's just like bashed someone's head against the table, and the guy just kind of goes limp and like falls over. And she looks up and she sees like, and she kind of nods at you like, "Oh, you're done? You want another one?"
Oh, it's
And,
gonna be a long night, guys.
Yeah, and so she just kind of like laughs and yeah, I think that like that's like that continues the scene. It's not like you get to fight every guy. That's just like that's sort of the general tenor here is that she's seeing you more like a bro than someone she wants to like have intercourse with.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
In case that was unclear for anybody.
Yeah.
Innuendo wise. So meanwhile, while the fighting is going on, inside Winifred's tent, she has poured everybody like tea. She has this little like tea set that she takes out of a trunk and unwraps, and yeah, she's poured tea for the three of you, and you're all sort of sitting around in her tent, unless you have somewhere you would like to go and be.
Tell me about King. I catch myself. He says King. Tell me about Godric. Where is he from?
Godric is has been with the tribe a long time. He was captured some time ago by an old leader, and when the leader died, he was given his freedom and decided to stay. This is very common. Slaves that are freed and choose to become part of our tribe.
How does a slave become free here?
Freedom is a gift. We are given it either by the gods or those above us. Some of us are born free, a gift from the gods. Others are not and must earn it or be gifted it by those who are merciful, like the king who let him free.
This is going to be tough. I'm looking at Agnes and Woodsman. I don't know. Actually, it's out of character. What is the situation with slaves at this point post-revolution?
I mean, that's sort of up to y'all to determine. I'm not invested either way. Andrew, you had some ideas about this, right?
Sorry, I was distracted looking at character sheet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Slaves, post-revolution, slavery is illegal. What was your deal? Because you had some ideas, I remember.
Oh yeah, this is all like way back. Yeah, I feel like slavery was abolished. I imagine like a lot of people are still like kind of de facto keeping slaves, particularly among the nobility who are used to doing it. But yeah, it's like not cool. And if Rooster were in the room and people were like, we should just let him have slaves, Rooster would be like, I will kill every last one of you.
Yeah, no one has said that. No one has said that, I promise.
Yeah, so he's not. Yeah, it would not be kosher.
But like not just with Rooster, but with people.
With people in general.
Yeah. Okay. At least with the Revolutionary Council.
Because the middle class was like, yeah, we don't get to have slaves, so no one should have slaves. And now that we're in power, no one gets slaves.
Right.
Yeah.
And instead, we get really cheap labor.
Right.
And then they like structurally oppress them in a different way.
Right. Yeah. Baby steps.
But they're in charge now, so that's cool.
Yeah. Good.
Revolution. That pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Basil's response to that is just like, this might not be possible. I don't know. I'm gonna go talk to Godric about some things that aren't this. I'll be back.
Hey, Basil, wait a sec. Okay, so the woodsman has been drinking since lunch, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before lunch, actually. You were drinking before we even got to lunch.
Yeah, you got a head start.
Okay, so I pull Basil aside before he leaves, and I'm like, look, if this shit goes south, do they even know that we rule the shit at Graustadt?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so. Well, yeah, probably. They'd be, your guy probably told you.
Okay, well, do you realize that we are the perfect hostages for them?
Yeah, I realize.
Okay, so here's what we gotta do. We gotta send someone back, and that someone has gotta be the rooster. Because if they get him, well, he's gonna start shit here if we don't send him back. So we also need to send someone back to send a message to make sure if we all get, killed, that the village is warned, the Grouchstad is warned, and that kind of stuff.
I give Woodman a little shoulder squeeze. I didn't know you cared so much.
Get off.
You're probably right, but I don't know where the rooster is, and frankly, I don't think I'm the person who should be telling him to go do something right now. Kind of a bad blood situation. His blood mostly. So if you can find him, you have my blessing. I'm gonna go talk to King Godric.
Okay.
Agnes, do you want to stay here or do you want to go with Basil?
I'm gonna stay here and just kind of chit chat.
Okay. So, Basil, you go outside and you want to just straight.
Yeah, I'm looking
shot
for
to
Godric.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going back to where he was at before.
Okay.
How do you knock on a tent?
Shout.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
King Godric.
So, yeah, Godric is inside. I think.
Are you awake?
Yeah, you can like peer inside, and there's light, and he's up puttering around, and he waves you in, like, come inside.
Good smells in here. How's your day been?
He shrugs. I brought the dead back to life. I have not done that before. So
It was impressive. That's why I'm here. I have a question. What do you know about curses? Old curses. Curses.
You'll hear about the mark. I saw it on his body.
The mark.
Dangerous.
What mark? What mark?
So he describes the sigil that you all have somewhere on you as a result of the.
I want to make sure he was describing the right
Definitely,
thing,
yeah.
not one of his other many marks.
Yeah, lots of those,
What's that mark look like? Did we ever figure that out?
A burning wheel.
Burning
It's like
wheel.
a burning wheel.
Right. Yes, of course.
It looks like a meme.
Yeah.
So he says the ring of fire. I saw it.
Yeah.
Your man, Rooster. Bad news. Dangerous business, that.
Have you seen that before?
He shakes his head. No, but something like it.
Can you tell me more? Would you like to? Should we sit? Is this a?
He
It seems like you're gonna tell me something very
rubs
bad.
his chin and he says, "You sit." And he walks over to a chest and starts digging through it. And he says, "We stole this off a priest after he was killed on the road. This was decades ago. Old priest, religion long forgotten now. Where is it? Here." Then he pulls out a book, a big thick tome. And you can smell the oldness from it as soon as he brings it out. And he brings it over and he sets it down and he says, "Here." And he opens it up and starts to page through it. And he brings you to a page with this ancient looking faded almost sepia turned pale lemon juice stain on the paper kind of ink. It's so old and faded. And he points to an illuminated page that shows on it a wheel, much like the one you have marked on you somewhere, but with a different number of spokes. So this one has an extra spoke, and instead of a halo of flame, there's this torrent of water washing around it. And he says, "You see, similar, different, but related, I think. This book," and he pats it, "all about the end of the world. Priest's cult predicted the world would end Well, his did. Ours, still going strong, I think.
Lots of people's worlds ended over the last few years. Maybe it just it's not really a curse. Maybe it's a prediction, a sort of a metaphor. Not really a curse so much as a I don't know. If it's real, is there any way to do anything about it?
Kind of looks at you, like, confused. What? What do you mean, if it's real? Of course it's real. Don't be foolish. And the best thing to do is avoid it. Cast this man free. Send him away.
There are others with it, and they're important.
Others?
Not just to me. They're important to many other people.
Kind of like scowls at you. Tell me more about this.
Do you know what happened in the city?
He shakes his head. No, but I've heard rumors. Change. Large change. The girl, Egbert's cousin, she cares more for these things than anyone.
There was an empress, and there isn't now. A set of people did that, pushed on by the will of the people who wanted things to change, who wanted more freedom, more life. And they have that now. But those who drew their blades on the Empress, they wear that mark now. And many of them are important. Not just like Rooster, who is important to us, but important to the world that is there now, to the new world, to the world of fire and freedom.
So he's nodding as you speak, and he says, "So your friend, murderer of kings, then?"
Don't worry, King Godric. He wouldn't murder you.
He laughs. Ha! I would like to see any of you try. All of you at once. And he kind of puffs up a little.
Yeah, a little laugh. Yeah, though. Yes.
He looks at the book, and he says, "I have no need for this thing anymore." And he pats it. He says, "I've read it 100 times. Nothing in here but babble, but maybe useful to you." He picks it up and holds it out, and he says, "Give it to the woman. I think she'll understand. Something in there for her."
I will.
Good.
Thank you, King Godric. You're a special man.
He laughs. He says, "That's what my mother always said."
God rest her soul, I guess. Have a good night. Head back. Book in tow.
All right. Cool. So in the tent, Woodsman and Agnes, do you have anything in particular you want to talk to Winifred about?
I think I want to bring up the fact that she said she recognized me from something.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. How do you do that?
I think I'm just direct with her. I think I just say, you mentioned earlier that you knew me from somewhere, but I don't think I know you from somewhere.
She says, "I have been thinking about it, where I recognized you from. I have not seen your face in person before, but in the village where I lived, there were men that came, tale tellers. They had posters, and I think that I have seen you on them. This was just before I left. You are someone important in the city, I think. I could not read the words But the woman that they showed looked to me to be very strong. I see that strength here. She like looks at you, kind of like approvingly.
I I I pretend like this is obvious to me, and like my face is all over the place, and I'm just like, yeah, I'd like to get my hand on a copy of one of those someday. Pretty cool, right?
She says, I have a cousin, a young girl. She lives in the village. And she and I used to talk about going to the city. I have not been into the village in a very long time, and I do not know if she still lives there. But I think that I would like to find her and take her to the city and see these things for ourselves. And she kind of like gives you this expectant look, like she wants like reassurance that that's possible, or like she wants you to offer to like help her with that, but is too like, she doesn't want to like outwardly be like, so how about that?
Hmm. I say, well, I'm familiar with most of the villagers in the city, as I've passed food to most of their houses in person. What is her name? What does she look like?
So she describes the girl, and you know she doesn't have any like distinguishing features, so it's harder to like get that. And at the end, she says her name is Emma, I think. It was not the name she was born with, but it is the name she took when she moved to the village.
Aha. Okay. Well, actually, Agnes doesn't know who that is. Or does she? No, I don't think she does.
I don't. Yeah, I can't remember if you ever got her name.
Oh yeah, I don't think she knows who that is. Okay.
Is
So,
Woodsman still there? Or did Woodsman wander off at this point?
oh yeah, are you
I
there?
mean, the woodsman would have wandered inside if anywhere, but yeah, you're still there. You can hear all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I'm not that like coherent right now, but
Yeah.
uh, I probably like glance at you, Agnes, to acknowledge that I like registered what she just said.
In a way that you want to say something, or
No,
just in
just
like a
no.
okay.
Just that we're
All right.
referring to the whatever her name is.
Uh, well, I think at this point I simply I say something kind of like vague but also reassuring, like,
That's
you
a
know,
nice
like,
dream.
oh well, you know, we should I'm sure we'll return to the village at some point.
Okay. All right. So I think that she just asks you like questions the rest of the evening about the city. You know, she tells you to ask you to you know tell her about the buildings and how many people live there, and like ask you questions about like what parks are like and that kind of thing. She's very curious about what it would be like to live in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Okay.
I mean, how does that go? Do you tell her like do you spin like a nice story, or are you just like kind of like factual? Like how I want to
I
get the impression of your interaction there.
well, she doesn't honestly know a whole lot about the place she came from, because she spent most of her time like in one specific little area in her shop trying to protect it. So she kind of fluffs it a little bit,
Yeah.
and like, you know, makes it seem like the changes that have occurred there are good things. Everything is looking up, and
Sure, yeah. So you're like teaching her about the new world.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. All right. You have an opportunity to influence her in some way here, right? Like she's sort of opened herself up to you, and by the what you tell her and how you tell her, and that you can kind of influence how she feels about you or about the city or anything like that. So if you want to make a roll, if you want to try to like convince her to do something or change her mind about something or whatever, this is an opportunity. She's sort of vulnerable to you now.
I mean, ideally, I'd like her to kind of have our back the next time we go to talk to Egbert, and
Sure.
like speak her mind, and say something about wanting to change for the better and not just continuing to do whatever bullshit they always do.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So, I guess I'm basically trying to inspire her about what's going on back home and how things could be.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Okay, so let's look at your skills here. Okay. So I think if you wanted to, you could just roll like a persuade again if that's something you want, or you could just you can make a philosophy test too, and just like lay the groundwork for changing her philosophical like view on the world, if that's how you want to get at it.
That makes sense to me.
I guess that's the question, right? Is like you're either trying to persuade her to do a thing, or you're trying to change her mind so that she will do a thing differently on her own.
That.
Okay, cool. So you're trying to explain philosophically why things happen the way they are, and like get her on your side that way.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Right.
We'll make a philosophy test.
Okay.
The obstacle will be 2.
Okay.
And if do you have any? You want a fork?
Fork? Not. Nah. Meh.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
You don't have any, I thought you had some stuff.
Streetwise.
What do you have? I thought you had some other like learning skills. Smart people stuff. School smart people stuff.
No, I totally don't.
Thinking.
I have rule of law,
Mm,
streetwise, and then everything else is like
right.
baking.
Okay, sure. So make your philosophy test then.
All right.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oof. Okay. So she's just too like sort of starstruck to really get the point. Like you can feel that she's like right on the edge of like kind of understanding, but it doesn't sink in the way that you had hoped. Yeah. Okay. So that
This
kind of
very
carries
moment,
you.
I'm like starting to regret paying money to go to college.
Hey, mark that difficult test.
Yeah.
So then the evening passes into night then, and I assume eventually you all decide to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Rooster, did you have anything else you wanted to do after Fight Club?
Well, I'm gonna like doggedly pursue Hedwig until she like is asleep.
Yeah, I mean you're welcome to try another vector for that because
Yeah.
we have to let it roll on the fighting to impress her. Would you like to try some other trick?
Like maybe after fighting, people start telling stories.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I get to tell some stories.
Yeah, you want
I
to tell a story? Okay.
finally use my campaign history skill.
Nice.
So I've been saving for.
All right, so so there's some like very rowdy stories that you don't understand, and then it comes around to you, the speaking conch, and and you're like jostled up in front of the fire.
Yeah, and so I just tell some like gnarly campaign story.
Mm-hmm.
About like some battle where everyone died and it was awful.
It's really sexy.
Like some harrowing experience that I had. I think like one of the like numerous times in which like Rooster's entire unit got wiped out except him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna roll my campaign history. I'm gonna fork in.
So campaign history is for remembering like details and stuff. You're actually rolling oratory here, but
Okay.
using your campaign history as a.
Can I do a?
Let me double check that that's not how that works. But I think that's what campaign history is for.
Okay, I mean it would make sense.
Campaign history is what you roll when you can't remember what happened in the first session.
Ugh.
I'm pretty sure it was an ogre, Adam. All right, campaign history. I see a campaign wise.
Campaign history was a skill I got because I was a veteran.
Okay, all right, let's take a look. Okay.
It's a specific history. There are different histories.
Oh,
I
okay.
see. Yeah, yeah.
Thank
Specific
you.
history.
Right, campaign history.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then history is for ostensibly making up history or learning it. It's like a or remembering it. It's like a wild.
Yeah, so can I use it to make up a cool fact about myself that I relate to the people?
Sure. Let's do it this way. You can make your history test, and then use that as a linked test for your oratory. So it'll give you a bonus die.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do campaign history. Can I fork battle wise and or survivor wise into
Yeah, you
this?
can fork both of those. Sure.
Great.
It's going to be Ob 1 because these are people who are already kind of drunk, ready for a good story, and aren't going to question the veracity of the tale.
Yeah, they just want to be entertained.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go.
Okay. Why are you incapacitated?
What?
Look at your wounds. Your wounds might be checked wrong. You're not allowed to roll if you have 0 dice in something.
Yeah, but I only have 1 wound dice.
Let me take a look at your combat section. I like that. You're incapacitated.
I'm gonna write a bug report on this nonsense.
Let's see. Campaign history 1.
So I have 1 die in it, and then I've got
Oh, okay.
4.
It's just telling you that because you're not supposed to be able to roll on stats. It just shouldn't be checking on the skill. So just tick off your like untick your wound for now.
Yeah, and just roll.
Yeah.
Roll whatever.
You're drunk. Passed out. The end.
What an exciting tale.
One time I got up and then I fell down. The end. So just put in one die for modifiers. Yeah, that'll do. You got it. Okay. So all you needed was 1 success. So you go ahead and add that, and now you can make your untrained, your oratory test.
Woo. Oratory is based on will?
It is, yeah.
Oh, I'm so good at being willful.
Don't ever make anyone who has the skills roll those skills. Just roll everyone else's skills on your turn.
I mean,
who wants to roll brawling next that isn't Rooster?
it's not like I can go,
Yeah, it's true.
get my homie to tell a story.
You tried to do it your way, but now you got to do it the talkie way.
This is a weird way to do things.
All right, so oratory. The obstacle will be her will. I'll give you 2 dice of advantage because she's already like kind of ready to listen and in that same situation.
Mm-hmm. And then 1 for my linked test.
And then 1 extra die for your link test, yeah.
So total modifier of 2.
Yeah, total modifier of 3.
3 then. Okay, great.
Yeah, and your will. And she's got a will of 3, so you need 6 successes to get her. Oh shit! You got a 6.
I'm spending fate. I'm doing it.
All right. So you can see, like, right at the end of the story, she's kind of like not really paying attention. You're like, gotta amp it up. All right, you do it. So what's the detail that you have to embellish right at the end to like really win her over? What's the icing that you throw on this valorous cake?
Well, so it's like a really grim story, but maybe like Hedwig is into that kind of stuff because she's
yeah.
pretty, like
They're pretty metal, these people.
yeah. I think I like show this like scar, this particular scar that I have from this like, wound that I took in the story, and it's like it looks all badass. So yeah,
Awesome.
like the extra punch is me being like, and it looked like this.
Right, and then also by that benefit, you're like more naked than you were before the story started. So
Yeah, there's my bod on display.
okay, all right. So the camp starts to like. I mean, you can. Why don't you narrate the end of this scene because you get the thing you wanted.
Oh, like just everyone is kind of filtering out slowly, and Hedwig just like gets up, and I just follow.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
there's no like complicated
Right.
nuance to
The
this.
dance is over.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We go back to her tent for a little
R&R.
injure myself further.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, make a health test.
Oh, don't.
Do I actually have to make a health test?
No, I'm just kidding. You earned the thing you want, and you don't have to be tuckered out tomorrow for it. You're a badass. Cool. Okay, so this might actually be like, unless I feel like everybody kind of like terminates the evening. You've all made some headway. Sorry, that was very nearly a bad pun.
Almost.
I avoided it. I just like right at the last second managed to like
You spent your fate point
Yeah.
and made that last roll.
leaned away from
The
it.
last success you needed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is a good place to call it for now.
I want to. Can we just get the scene of me?
So yeah, my question, that was what I was going to ask. I was going to say, do you want to do that scene now, or if you wait till the next session, you could write a belief about it and make exploring that thing something that you
Right.
and Agnes can do together in the next session.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Let me make a note about that though.
Okay.
That way, I guess we'll do that when we go over beliefs. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
call. Good call.
Cool. So why don't we start handing out some Artha? Agnes Baker. Did any of your beliefs lead your character into trouble or a complicated situation this session? Did you play your character's beliefs? I can see one definitely that you for sure
I
did.
attempted to embody the strength of the revolution several times, but
Mhm.
wasn't really effective.
But you still
ever.
did it, right? Like you get fate every time you pursue a belief. So
Okay.
okay.
I think that's it for my beliefs.
Okay. Did you? I mean, your we talked about this before. Your instincts are pretty preventative. They're pretty like,
Yeah.
for your benefit, so you don't often get points for them. Did any of your character traits? I can see a few of them too that you'll get points for. Did any of your character traits get you into a complicated situation or a complicated situation that wouldn't otherwise be?
I mean, again, I don't know about complicated, but like I attempted to rabble rouse. There were a lot of situations where I didn't speak up when I could have.
Well, you got flustered instead of fighting back, which I think complicated things for you because he just kept coming on strong.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you like, I don't know if you did this on purpose or whatever, but you straight up called out Big Boned as a way to get him to harass you.
That's true.
Like, I was pretty sure that was
Yeah.
like, I thought that was Jess feeding me an opportunity to keep playing the NPC the way I was. So if that was by accident, you're doing the game the correct way. Just keep going for that. So, Woman of Few Words, Big Boned, and Rabble Rouser, you can take fate for all three of those.
All right, cool.
Yeah, getting him fate points. All right. Basil.
Sure.
Basil, my friend.
Let's see. Let me pull that up. I definitely pursued the curse one. So I'll take a point
Yep.
for that.
Yep.
Let me mark that down so I can
Take
remember.
fate for that one.
I didn't do anything with the Will of God thing. I didn't really do the leading by actions thing here. I don't.
No, you let Agnes like do the
Again,
convinc-
you pursued it, but
I
didn't
pursued it. You're right. Yeah, I'll take the
didn't
fate
do
for
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
for
you
sure.
tried. You were like, I'm gonna do a thing.
Instinct wise, the only thing that I think is even close is this weird. It's not an inversion of my new one. Never let a friend walk into danger alone. But my like calling Colin, being like, "Hey, there's a guy in the woods," was me making sure he didn't get fucking killed. But that's like a very weird version of this instinct. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that it helped rather than hindered in this
Right,
case. 'Cause
right,
Your instinct
that's
was
true.
not to leave him alone.
Right. Okay. And then trait wise, no, I don't think anything really.
No, you're so
got me
nice.
into
You could have been
This-
contemptuous of these backwater hobos.
No,
But you weren't.
listen, I've been that for a while. I needed a day of Basil not
I
killing.
know, I like it. I'm not. It's not a criticism.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Right,
like choosing to
yeah.
reject your cultural traits is still part of playing the character.
Right. Yeah, the cultural stuff especially.
Yeah.
And again, like I played muttering, and towards the end cynical a little bit, but like not in a way that got him into trouble. So
Sure. Okay.
next week, cynical might not. There are some things you can't talk yourself out of. Slavery might be one of them. It might be there's no equal ground here.
All right, Woodsman.
Okay, so for my beliefs, so for I guess not letting myself become close with anyone, there was definitely that encounter in which I felt like she was attempting to.
Yeah, Winifred was
close.
trying to bond with you in some way, and you were just like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, take fate for that for sure.
Cool. Typical woodsman.
Well, and so this is the thing. Like, as you play your character's beliefs and earn fate for them and stuff, you're kind of leaning yourself towards a moment where we get to see the woodsman finally like let somebody in,
Right.
and that's like where the big drama comes from. Where we get all the
And honestly, I think today his demeanor in that kind of situation is different than was somewhat different than it started out
I think so too. Yeah.
in situations.
Cracks show
Uh,
for sure. Yeah.
So the risking my life without pause thing, I don't really think that happened.
No, not really.
So my instincts, suspicious of strangers, guard never let down. I don't know if there was anything.
I actually feel like this instinct got in your way because you were like all on guard the whole time and not being friendly with any of these people, and like you could have stepped in and like said something. Like the woodsman has a weird joviality to him sometimes, but this was not on display. It was like hidden the whole time.
Yeah.
Because these are strangers, right?
Yeah, especially at first, he was super paranoid. As soon as he got called out of the woods. So.
Yeah, take a fate for that for sure.
Okay. Hint of danger, conceal myself as best I can. This whole like hiding in the woods thing was pretty like premeditated, so
yeah, and it worked for you, so
yeah. Okay, so character traits: broken man, fearless, mind-numbing work, alcoholic. I think alcoholic maybe played a role. I did not. Kind of something important that I wanted to convey to Basil. I don't think I really got a strong message across to him.
Definitely, yeah. It hindered your ability to communicate for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Determined, greedy, entrepreneurial, ulcer.
So one thing with the ulcer trait, that's something that you can play up yourself. Like you can be like, like especially like the alcoholic one can lead into the ulcer one to be like, cool. Well, now it's time to like do stuff, and I'm in like racking pain. So like I don't get up to help, or like I don't say anything, or I just look at you and there's like tears in my eyes, but I keep drinking. Like that's stuff you can totally do when you have that opportunity.
I figured as much. I literally just forget.
Totally. Yeah, it's still a
all the
lot to
time.
juggle, and it's been a while. You haven't had this ulcer for very long.
Yeah, I did. I actually was fishing for it though at one point. I asked about the halberd. Because I was gonna like act it out if there was a halberd in my sight line.
Fear of stabbing.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I guess pretty much just the alcoholic thing.
Okay. All right, the rooster. How about you?
So I changed one of my beliefs because I realized that the one I had about not dying here was just like not relevant anymore. And this new one that I made didn't really come up, but it's that there are no more kings, all slaves must be free, Egbert must be made to change his ways or die. So heads up.
Heads up, everybody.
It's a hot
So
preview.
my first belief is my companions are strangers to hardship. It is my place to bear the worst of it for them. I didn't really get a chance to do that. They were actually bailing me out of stuff and doing
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah, totally.
Basil thinks I'm fit to lead because he doesn't understand the lot of a slave. It is his place to bear the responsibility, not mine, and I must convince him of it. I think actually I finally got there by getting stabbed a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I passive aggressively reminded him of it all session.
It's true.
Like,
I think you could take the persona for that one. I think Basil is starting this session would have gone very differently, especially around the slave stuff, if that previous bit hadn't happened already.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that one's like finally rounded off. I'm gonna move on to something else.
Yep.
I really like my new belief about there being no more kings.
I like it too.
That'll come up soon.
That's good.
Instincts always defer to authority. When someone tries to touch me or connect emotionally, push them away. When there is downtime, hone my fighting skills.
Okay.
None of them really got me in trouble.
Yeah.
When Hedwig tries to sleep with me, maybe instinct 2 will get me in trouble. And then character traits: masterless, scarred, gambling addiction, survivor, pliant, silent, brutish, and then lame, broken, stubborn. I don't think any of them really
No, I don't think so
came
either.
up either.
Cool. Well, good on you for grabbing the persona point.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice.
Cool. Those new NPCs I get to play.
Yeah.
It's fun
Good job.
times. Yeah, we're probably like one session away from like closing up the first arc. Like I think Graustadt is almost sorted. This was the last thing to like resolve. So once you point Egbert in the right direction, whether that's at Graustadt or into the grave, we'll be able to see what Freiburg is like. And I don't know, maybe Agnes will take some of her new friends home with her. We'll see. Cool. Well, between now and the next session, if folks in our audience want to follow you on the social medias or check out projects that you might have, why don't we start with Jess? You want to go around and just tell us about those things before we say goodnight for the evening?
Sure. Thanks for watching, guys. It's always fun telling stories with this crew. Tell your friends. If you want to follow me, you can do that on Twitter at Sylden, SYLDENN. I draw. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know. I don't do a whole lot, you know.
This attitude
I play
coming
some
from
games and I
people,
draw.
and we've talked about this before. Just this attitude that people who are good at doing art stuff have around it, and they're like, I just draw.
No. There are people who take it to. Oh my god, it drives me crazy.
When people who can't draw see the things that you conjure from nothing, we're like, nice, good, you're a sorceress. Well done, thank you.
No, when someone who's like incredible at drawing tweets something and they're just like, oh, just a little doodle I did real quick, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That probably took you like 8 hours. Shut up right now.
Fair.
But anyway, yeah, on the twits.
Word.
Check me out.
Austin, when you're not playing Destiny.
Even when I am, apparently, that's bomb.com. You can find the 7-hour stream we did of the Destiny Taken King raid. It's on the site now. You can also read the review I did this week of I think kind of a special game called The Beginner's Guide, which is it's made by the writer of the Stanley Parable, and it is altogether a much more eerie and personal game than that. It's on giantbomb.com. You can also find the actual play podcast I do called Friends at the Table at friendsattetable.net.
Cool. Thanks, Austin. Colin, how about you? Can we start a Twitter where you just drunk tweet as the Woodsman? Can we do that? Because that would be amazing.
Woodsman though, at Woodsman though.
At Woodsman though.
That's so good.
No what?
I mean, I'll start it if you don't.
In the interim, though, until that project gets up off the ground.
I'm done with the novelty Twitters. There's too many out there. Everyone has like people have Twitter accounts for their dogs and their cats and
I know.
Their role-playing game characters.
their role-playing
You're
games.
missing out.
So my real me Twitter, that's actually me, not a fictional person, is at SVNDER. And that is where I talk about all sorts of things, occasionally role playing, and quite often a much wider spectrum of things, video game related, science related, because that's part of what I do for a living.
How about that water on Mars, huh?
Water on Mars, yeah, big science news. I love it when science news happens in like the mainstream, when there's
Yeah.
like something to talk about that's like tangible, kind of. It's like it's great.
Yeah,
And plus
kind of.
there's like now we live in a world where science news isn't like a little sort of like dense press release on like some like buried NASA blog somewhere. It takes the form of memes now.
Right,
And like
yeah.
it's actually awesome. I love seeing it's like when all the Pluto news was happening, there's so much personification and like people are making all these awesome illustrations of Pluto, and like it's like it's so cool how people take that sort of kind of stuff and make it so much more affectionate. But anyway, yeah, go to Twitter. You can follow me there and do stuff.
Cool.
Can you tell I'm tired?
Yeah, no, I think we're all kind of exhausted. It's been a long
I'm
week.
literally falling asleep on my keyboard right now.
All right, Andrew, do you want to close us off? Because I
Yeah,
know
you
you're
can
gonna be
follow
short and
me.
sweet.
You can follow me on Twitter at Commuting Crow. I do the show, and I'm a rather poor attendance member of the Thursday show, which I'm going to fix that. I've just been out of town and stuff. It's been difficult. So we're doing Old School Adventures, and we're doing Play D&D, which has been great while I've been there. I have ventriloquism. I'm a powerful magic user with ventriloquism, guys. So watch out.
I am a
My voice
powerful
sounds like
magic
it's from
user.
over there. But yeah, you can find me there.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming and playing, everybody. I know that we were talking about at the beginning about being kind of like worn out already, and I know that Burning Wheel is not a game you can just kind of coast through. So thank you for staying committed and doing such a good job playing. This is really fun, and I miss playing with you guys. So it's good to be
I'm
back.
psyched to get started again.
So we will be back on Thursday, some of us, for as Andrew mentioned, Old School Adventures, and our entire schedule will be available just over at my website, adam-koble.com/schedule. So go check that out. You can follow me on Twitter at Skinny Ghost, same place I'm always at. You've heard the spiel before. If you haven't already, go and start up an account with Roll20 because it's free and you can play role-playing games on the internet. So it's kind of win-win. We will see everybody next week for more role-playing action. Thank you for coming. It's been a slice as always. Later, everybody.
Peace.